Hi, I'm Nancy with Creative Cutz. Thanks for joining me. Lettering Delights has just come out with a new line of single layer cutting files called Cutz. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to take one of those files and create a second layer that you can put in behind it so you can then use it on your paper crafting projects. So to open the file, I'm just going to come up to SVG. Now the Cutz come in a number of different cutting formats, but for working in Make the Cut, SVG is the format that you want to use. And I'm using one from the Quirky Art set. I'm going to use Quirky Art 2, which is this little paint tube. So I'll click on Open, and it drops it onto my mat. And I'm just going to enlarge this a little bit so that it's a bit easier to see. Now what I'm going to do to create that second layer, you can see that there's some holes here to represent creases in the paint tube, and the word paint would be cut out once you cut it. So I'm going to right click on it, come down to Shape Magic, and then Shadow Layer. And this dialog box pops up. Now I'm just going to grab the slider bar for shadow width and start dragging it to the right. And you can see both in the preview window and over here on the mat, you can start to see the shadow layer appearing. So you can just drag it out to be however wide you'd like it to be. So I want a reasonably narrow shadow layer. I want something in like that. But what you can see has happened, I'm just going to move this so you can see both here. On the matte image, there's still some holes in my shadow layer, which I don't want. So I'm very quickly just going to click on Apply Blackout. And now you can see what has happened is all of those little holes inside have disappeared, so that what I have is one single layer that can go underneath the single cutting file. So I'll click on Accept. And now one more quick little tip here. I'm just going to change my matte to contrast. And now you can see that both of my layers have turned to black. But what I can actually do just by clicking on the little color selector is change the color of those layers so that I can get a little bit better visual of what this is going to look like when both layers are cut. So I've changed the top layer to a pink, and I'm going to change the bottom layer maybe to this dark red. And I'll just turn off outline shapes to get rid of that little black outline. So now you can see a little bit more clearly what this will look like when you cut both the top layer that comes from Lettering Delights and the second shadow layer that you've just created. Now you can take this little layered file and add it to a card or a scrapbook page or any other paper craft that you're working on.